Quinnen Williams just got paid $105 million, 7 games into being a Cowboy. $63 million of that is guaranteed at signing, the most ever for a defensive tackle. But this contract is haunted by a name Dallas fans don't want to hear. So who's really footing the bill? Here's the full breakdown, because the structure of this thing is wild. 3 years. New money guaranteed at $101 million total. A signing bonus of $31.85 million landing in Quinnen Williams' account before he takes a single snap in the 2026 season. Stack that on top of the 2 years already remaining on his old contract, and Williams is now sitting on a 5-year package worth $153.15 million, locked into Dallas through the 2030 season. The average annual value on the extension lands at $35.3 million a year, and that number is doing a lot of work. It slots Williams second among every defensive tackle in football, sliding just barely above Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans at $35.27 million, and trailing only Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles at $38 million. Williams also becomes just the 4th interior defender in league history to average north of $30 million per season, joining Carter, Simmons, and Chris Jones in Kansas City. Look at that group one more time. Those are the 4 most expensive interior defenders the sport has ever produced, and one of them now lines up inside AT&T Stadium. So why would Dallas pay a premium for a player they were already paying? Because of what it cost them to get him through the door in the first place. Last November, at the trade deadline, the Cowboys shipped the New York Jets a 2026 second-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick, and former first-rounder Mozzie Smith. And it wasn't just any 2027 first. Dallas agreed to send the higher of its own selection, and Green Bay's selection, which means the better the Packers are this season, the more that pick is going to sting when the envelope opens next April. Now, follow that thread back, because this is where it gets uncomfortable in Dallas. That Green Bay first-round pick only existed because the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to the Packers a week before the 2025 opener, hauling back 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, while Parsons signed a 4-year, $188 million deal in Green Bay and became the highest-paid non-quarterback in the sport. So follow the chain. Dallas traded away Parsons, flipped one of the picks it got back to acquire Quinnen Williams, and has now handed Williams a $105.9 million extension. Every single dollar of this contract is haunted by the guy who used to wear number 11 in that locker room. But strip away the draft capital and the drama for a second, because Williams absolutely earned this on tape. Williams went 3rd overall to the Jets out of Alabama back in 2019. 4 straight Pro Bowl selections. First team All-Pro in 2022, the year he put up 12 sacks rushing from the interior, which is genuinely absurd production for a man lining up over the guard. Across his career, he's piled up 41.5 sacks, 343 tackles, 110 quarterback hits, 8 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. 2 picks for a guy that size. Before the trade, through 9 games, the Cowboys were surrendering 143 rushing yards per game. Williams debuts in Week 11, and over the final 8 games of the season, Dallas cuts that number down to 105.8 rushing yards allowed per game. 3 separate times they held opponents under 80 yards on the ground, something they had not managed even once before he showed up. From Week 11 through Week 18, his 30 pressures ranked 2nd among every defensive tackle in the National Football League. Pro Football Focus charted his pressure rate at 16.3%, best of any interior defensive lineman from his debut onward, and slapped a 91.7 run defense grade on him that finished first at the entire position. His overall 88. That was him learning a brand new playbook in the middle of a lost season, on a team that finished dead last in the league in points allowed at 30, 1 per game. That's the bet Dallas just made. Now, this is where the front office deserves a little heat, because they waited. Stephen Jones stood at the podium in Oxnard back in late July and said Williams was at the top of the list of players they wanted to keep around long-term. Meanwhile, the defensive tackle market was going up in flames around them. Philadelphia handed Jalen Carter 4 years and $152 million, with a maximum value of $160 million. Tennessee locked in Jeffrey Simmons at $35, $276 million a year. Every one of those deals raised the floor under Quinnen Williams' feet, and his agent Nicole Lynn knew it. Dallas could have moved months earlier. They didn't, and when they finally sat down, they ended up setting an all-time record for guaranteed money at signing for the position. That's the cost of hesitation in this league. So how does a team that was more than $55 million over the salary cap back in March suddenly afford any of this? Dallas already restructured Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyler Smith this offseason to manufacture roughly $66 million in room, which is how Prescott's 2026 base salary dropped from $40 million all the way down to $1.8 million. This extension actually helps Dallas right now, converting salary into bonus money and lowering Williams' 2026 hit, because the Cowboys were sitting on barely $5.5 million in space before Monday afternoon. George Pickens caught 93 passes for 429 yards and 9 touchdowns last season. He is playing the 2026 season on a $27.3 million franchise tag. So Jerry Jones will guarantee $101 million to a defensive tackle, but won't take a meeting with his 400-yard receiver. New defensive coordinator Christian Parker, 34 years old, first coordinator job of his career. Rashawn Gary imported from Green Bay to attack the edge. Caleb Downs, the Ohio State safety, taken 11th overall. Malachi Lawrence out of UCF at 23. Jalen Thompson and Kobe Durant added through free agency. Kenny Clark lining up next to Williams up front. 5 of 7 draft picks spent on defense. And Quinnen Williams is the cornerstone they just bolted to the floor through 2030. Prescott, Lamb, Pickens, and Javonte Williams coming off 1,201 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. Dallas finished second in the league in total offense and still went 7-9-1, calling that Williams trade one of the smartest moves any front office has made in years. And $36 million a year across the full 5-year package for a top 2 graded interior defender is legitimately strong value in today's market. Quinnen Williams got paid. Now Dallas needs him to be worth every penny. Drop a comment and tell me where you land on this one. Did the Cowboys just build a genuine contender in the trenches? Or did they just wrap another expensive mistake in a bow? Hit that like button, subscribe for NFL breakdowns all season long, and I'll catch you in the next one.